gonna paint the
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? What's going on? Guess what? It is another Goliath gang painting day, and finally we're gonna do some of the more interesting stuff. We will be getting on the flesh today. Might as well just start things off. Gonna be trying a few new things. I've forgotten about flesh that is not of a human variety. But first, turns out I need this. This guy fairly splotchy base coat wise for the flesh, so just go ahead and fix that right up. Let's just go over all of the places where I missed the spot. To speak. And if something turns out along the way, I'll just address it in real time. I have a feeling that that will be the case. So the worst offender is right here. What actually prompted me to start doing this? I have paint on my forearm. Wouldn't be able to. Ah, that's why. I cannot. My paintbrush here. That will explain it. think that will do it. Now, let's see what happens when we try to highlight by introducing flesh tones and mix. I'm gonna start off with Cadian flesh tone. Like to happen. Well, some bit muddy, but I think it'll do. Okay. I'm running a bit thick here. But we'll fix it later. Now let's just focus on sketching in where we want the highlights and what we want them to do. Oh, here is where the question actually presents itself. Do I blend and glaze down after each successive highlight? think that'll be the best case. This course of action, because otherwise further glazes will make things a bit weird. In that case, let's bend the highlights a little bit. Give me room. To actually bring them down. There will be a lot of this, considering this is supposed to be sort of the midtone for the whole ordeal. I'll try and make it a little bit smaller through glazing. Or at least that's the idea. What is it with me in this model? Just constantly trying to fall. So Pretzel appears to be having a fit. Switching songs around without writing more reason. The highlight I just placed isn't realistic in the slightest, but it will make some the detailing pop. Details a little bit more visible. Okay, with now we've somehow dropped the value here, so try and pick it up a little bit. This is an area where we've missed cleanup. Let's just do that real quick. I've been going a bit zealous. With the metallics and apparently the green. Losing the color a bit weird. Again, this is going to get toned down. Just laying some sketchy highlights. Let's see if I can pencil that in. A little bit. Man, do I like making things hard on myself. My weird disdain for sub-assemblies. I could ever get into the habit of actually doing those. That'd be so great. Or not. I honestly do not know. Okay. Bring that stuff down a little bit. Apparently we started off a lot brighter than we ended up. Fingers and this stuff I'll leave as is. Okay. Now reintroduce purple. Really, do I have the transfer? I do. So do I want to make life easy on myself, or... Matter host Fate. Welcome aboard. How you doing? How is your day coming along? Yeah, let's not be parent. Just suffer. So how's it going? What brought you to this tiny little channel? Really? Oh man, that's really nice of you to say. I appreciate it very, very much. Are you doing any painting yourself? If you are, and if you have anything to share, like any links to your work. Oh, that's cool. This is a link-friendly stream, so if you have anything you want to show off, please do. I don't know if you are into miniatures painting or board games. That's cool. Well, still, if you have something that you are particularly proud of, or anything along those lines, still, because for all I know, it might just spark a little bit of extra inspiration here, and maybe give me an idea for the next project, be it in terms of overall feel or some color choices. So yeah, technically any and all kinds of art are but okay, no worries. You will find no grammar Nazis around here, so don't worry about it. If it's something I understand. A little workshop of medieval collage from a few days ago. Alrighty. Just give me a quick second to try and finish some of this up. So these are guys for a board game called Necromunda. And it's sort of a... in feel, it's pretty close to the megacities in Judge Dredd. You're not technically supposed to have purple skin, but that's pretty much how I felt it. I've been trying sorry, to play around with some different skin tones, so we got a blue one and a green one, and trying things out. Oh wow. Dude, this is looking very realistic in terms of like being a timepiece following a particular style. Now, I am no art connoisseur, so it would be very stupid of me to try and place an exact century on that. That is definitely cool. Ha, alright. Not the most Twitch appropriate, but still. Yeah, these are very cool, dude. Good job. Nice. Give you a follow and a like. Oh, and are you streaming as well? Because I noted it said Twitch TV. This flesh here is... Oh, that's cool. Well, in that case, let me give you a quick shout out, although it is technically just you and me on the stream. And, I will make use of this link and give you a follow. Right on. So, in case anyone decides to join along and see what's up, they will be able to see the little shout out. They can give you a follow and keep you company in your growing new stream. Oh, no worries. I only wish that it had a little bit more of an impact, but still, like... The art community appears to be considerably more lenient and friendly and supportive than the majority of the gaming community, so whenever possible, we try and help out each other. So how do you find streaming? Like, do you like it? Is it still difficult to get used to? I don't know, talking, like keeping out the dead air. Things along those lines. Or is it just a blast? I'm kind of trying something new. Oh, don't worry about that. Like, honestly, the easiest way is to just literally spew out the first thing that comes to your mind. Most people will actually appreciate that rather than trying to build up. Then again, I am really not the person to give any advice on the matter. As you can see, I'm not the most popular person around. But the reason I started streaming was mostly to help along with my scheduling of leisure activities, so just get into the habit of having a few hours, a couple of days per week when I can just sit down and play around with my hobby. And in that regard, it's helped out quite a bit. I am one hell of a procrastinator in general, so having the idea that I have the stream to do is actually pushing me to be more consistent with my hobby time. And I've managed to finish up quite a few projects that were pending for a hell of a long time. So what I'm currently trying to do with this guy's flesh here is sketching out the highlights and then using very thinned out paint and glaze the changes, like the transitional points from the previous color, which was a darker one, so that we end up with a smoother transition and a more natural one, which is very important to achieve when painting flesh. Now, so far I've always left the glazing part until the very end. Hey, if it helps, man, more than happy. More than happy. And so now, even if I do stop streaming, because it is a little bit of an extra pressure, and having to deal with the camera, and like you probably see, forgetting to switch out the focus. There we go. Yeah, there are a few extra things that you need to consider that build up a little bit of extra pressure to deal with. Anyway, my point was that even if I stop streaming, I am already in the habit of treating these couple of days a week as hobby days. And hopefully I will keep the momentum. Also, another idea was to just get out into the world and show people that you can have average skills at painting little plastic dudesmen and still enjoy doing it and showing it off. That part, however, has not worked out particularly great so far, but you can't have it all. Which games are you playing on stream? Oh, by the way, speaking of games, started with Remnant from the Ashes. That was a Dark Souls-like, right? A brand new one. And Apex. Oh, with friends. Oh, that's so cool. The only reason that I never got into these cooperative games was we could never schedule something out with my buddies. It's always one hell of a struggle to get everyone on spot. Oh, yeah, I remember it. Yeah, it had an industrial sort of feel. I think I saw Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation play it. Didn't look half bad. So from these cooperative shooters, the one I really liked was Raiders of the Broken Planet, which was afterwards rebranded as, what was it? Space Lords. It's a very fun third-person thing, but unfortunately, as most games of this time, they are best played with buddies. I could not manage to get a party going. What I was also trying to get at is that if you like these dudes and you like a Judge Dreddy, grungy, more industrial feeling cyberpunk setting, in about a week's time there will be a PC release for a Necromunda video game. And it's going to play out something along the lines of XCOM. So if that's anything up your alley, you can give it a quick look. Yeah, one of the starting factions that you get from the game is these guys, the Goliaths. You also get the Ashers, which are a all-female band of assassins. Well, it doesn't exactly scream cyberpunk. Like it's a lot grungier and more weighty. It's part of the 40K aesthetic and setting in general. It's just a smaller one. So again, if you have anything in you like 40K, like Warhammer stuff, and the sci-fi version at least, it is in that same universe, only in these huge hive cities. And these are essentially rivaling words. Gangs that fight for dominance and territory and all that stuff. Hopefully. Oh, cool. Glad you like it. Hopefully I will get a chance to play with these dudes on the tabletop. As this is hopefully going to be my secondary board game. The primary being a little gem called Blood Bowl. A fantasy American football type game with orcs and dwarves and all the fantasy races. And much like Necromunda, it is in the setting of Warhammer, only the fantasy one, and it is a alternate reality version of it. Oh, nice! Yeah, I never got to play around with the simulator, but I know that over the course of the whole quarantine and all this stuff, tabletop simulator really exploded. Yes, I am pretty sure that there is. I think that almost everything is available nowadays. I think I actually saw some people playing it on other streams. So you're probably gonna find it. That being said, maybe starting off with the tabletop simulator for Necromunda isn't the best idea. Just because rules-wise, it is kinda heavy. And starting off with a video game, if you're interested in it, might be a little bit of a better starting point. As it will guide you through like the basics and the concept and whatnot. Okay, I think we are sort of good at this point. Managing to hide the harsh transitions, and now we can build up the next layer of highlighting. That'll be with more flesh tones into the purple. Nice. If I manage to recruit you into the hobby, into the setting, that would be awesome. Take a little bit of a break for a quick smoke, and I will be back into the painting. If you like those like games, have you given the anime one, Code Vein, I think it was called, have you given that a try? Because it is the one that mostly catches my fancy, but I have the fear that it will probably melt my PC if I try and run it. But I haven't really found anyone who has ever played it to give me an actual feedback on gameplay mostly. I just came across an idea. I've mostly been playing like turn-based squad management strategies lately, and I fear that the time will come where I'll burn out on this subject, because it is kind of dreary. It's kind of the same gameplay loop, but it doesn't have the dynamic aspect to it to sort of keep you entertained and going. So it has the potential of going dry real quick. Well, not real quick, but once it does, it's kind of there for a while. So I replayed Fallout 1, so the original, and then moved on to Wasteland 2. And some of the Shadowrun games, which are also a lovely aesthetic. Oh, here's something. If you like steampunk, I am from Bulgaria. It is a tiny little country just north of Greece and south of Romania. And this is just a little evening thing I do. Work on Mondays and Wednesdays to unwind after the workday is done and done. So a really cool steampunk setting that you might like and use for inspiration in your art is War Machine. It is by Privateer Press, and it focuses around focuses around these lumbering steampunk golems that can be controlled by sort of magically gifted warlords. It has a very unique aesthetic, and even if not for gameplay or for the game itself, some of the pictures and the illustrations might give you a little bit of an inspirational boost on the matter. If you're curious, that is. Sweet. Yeah, it grabbed me several years ago, but like it literally only took a picture to make me say, yeah, that's something cool. I'm gonna buy into these models. I'm gonna paint them up. It's gonna be awesome. And the game itself is pretty cool as well. It also has a PC iteration, although it was kind of kickstarted, and I am not sure on how much support it's getting currently. But again, it's there. And I think there is a free demo to try out. At the very least, there used to be. So many cool things in so little time. Sadly, the miniatures gaming community. You're welcome, dude. I'm honestly glad to have someone to keep me company. Not that I have anything against talking to myself on these streams, but, you know, company makes everything better. Except maybe playing with yourself, that'd be a bit weird. Let's make a brighter version of this color. Keep over thinning my paints, and then I wonder why I get no coverage, which is what I expect. The gaming community around here, the miniatures board games one, it was lifted mostly a couple of months ago, I think. So, like, bars and public establishments are now working. There are some places where distance needs to be observed, and wearing masks and other precautions. Which is nice because there are still cases coming up. I did, however, hit the absolute jackpot regarding all of this, and I technically got to work from home until the end of the year. And that has been pretty much a godsend to me. At first I was very much against it, because I don't want to keep my personal and professional life separate, and having to do both essentially from the same chair is a little bit shit. But I got used to it fairly quickly, I gotta say, and now I kind of don't want to go back. But I'll have to, though there are a solid 3 and... No, I mean, I'm still working, I'm just doing it from home. And all of the positives. It also helped me realize that just being at the office has such a additional wear and stress generation aspect to it that doesn't necessarily persist when you're doing the same stuff from home. Yeah, for sorry. For all services that can effectively be provided remotely, I really don't see a reason. It's kind of an old understanding that you're being more motivated if you are in an office environment. And some of the higher-ups are still following this concept, but I think you're right. It's going to wear itself out soon, and especially after the quarantine, it showed just how much and how many businesses and types of services can. Please tell me when I forget to switch out the focus, because this is driving me insane. Sorry. Yeah, so the quarantine gave us a very good understanding of how much we can extend remote capability. And I'm not saying by we, I don't mean just my company, well, the company I work for, but all of them. Hey, Mark, what's up? Yeah, that is true. How's it going? Yeah, I can't complain, really. Still working on the dudes. Trying out the whole sketch highlight blend down, sketch next level of highlight blend down thing. I've never really done it in that particular order. I usually layer everything up and then try and go for a final glaze. But that hasn't given me the best results in the world, so trying something new. Oh, nice. Hey there, Agent Orange. What up? The usual. Yeah, well. Still waiting on the cities of the Underhive pledge manager to go live. Yeah, it's inevitable. The more you hype yourself up to something, you do reach a little bit of a burnout eventually, and yeah, a little bit of a break might prove not only beneficial but just a good opportunity to cleanse yourself. But she did come out good. Like, I really like how she came out. Oh, baby fairy. Okay, I thought you meant the girl. It was a full body model with oh, it wasn't a bust. But yeah, I guess I'm mistaken. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. All right. Is that Kingdom Death? Nice. Ouroboros, okay. Yeah, they do have some sort of a dark-ish aesthetic like this. Still, with only 4 colors, again, dude, your skin tones are amazing. You're getting so good at those. Like, so cool. With the adult fairies, okay. Who issued the challenge? Who were you dealing? Who were you doing this with? Alrighty. Thank you for coming along, and I hope to see you back. Thanks again. Alright. Facebook friends. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that whole thing has been gaining quite a bit of traction. I saw quite a few streamers pick up similar challenges. But you still managed to create a purple and build it into the skin tones. Yeah, I'm constantly trying to look for opportunities to play around with that. Because I found out I am more often than not reaching for pre-mixed colors when I have them available, and that's kind of killing the potential that can actually be achieved. So I'm going for weirder color combinations. For instance, I'm trying to build up this purple with flesh tones mixed in, just to see how that works. And I'm also using the mohawks as sort of playing canvases, where I try to mix to create color transitions from very different colors on the opposite spectrums on the color wheel. By the way, I found a very cool color wheel on the internet. You've probably heard about it, but just in case, it's the Martian color wheel. Yeah, indigo. Do you get that with blue and purple? Well, let me show it to you. It's essentially it's a standard color wheel, but it's split up into many more sections, and it gives out a bit more information than the classic one. If I can find it, that is. So that's how it looks. Let me share the link in case it might prove useful to you. And the Zorn palette. Oh, okay. Face of black, of yellow. Oh, I'm saving that straight away. Going into the painting stuff. It's a very warm palette, isn't it? It'd be a good idea. And I keep saying that every time. Start using more reference materials in my stuff. Have you already given oils a try? I've been watching Drax paint with oils, and oh, you're welcome. Drax and also Orthober, Joe Orthober. Yeah, of course, Wapple is the master. But there is a bit too much experience behind him for me to actually be able to use what he does. So it's kind of more interesting for me to see miniatures painters that try to incorporate oils into their work, and the struggles. Bilbo brush, okay. Who else can I think of? Hadramol did, I think, a Death Guard, no, a Plague Marine with oils. It does seem to have very strong benefits over acrylics, with the only active drawback of drying time. Yeah, he's now into a twice per week, 2 streams per week schedule. He did that a couple of weeks ago, I think. You know, question is, why glaze with the previous? With the previous mix or with the deepest color? Oh, nice. Didn't know that. And James Wapple also mentioned that the more spirits you mix into the thing, the quicker it dries as well. Sort of like acrylics, the more water you put in, the quicker it goes. Not really sure though. So I fear that what I'm doing will just lead me to a pointless back and forward that will not change the end effect. But we'll see. Let's play around and see where that takes us. Oh? Yeah, I saw that today. Ox Jupiter. Yeah, she nice. Yeah, so this is the one I thought you were talking about when you said fairy. Yeah. Neko announced their new model. It's not a bust. Right. Okay. Gotcha. Well, now I do. So I feel like I'm bleeding out the color here, as in I'm bleeding out its saturation, and I'm thinking, do you think a good glaze with red could bring the feel of life into this? Because if I keep going, this is just going to get grayer and grayer, and will barely end up registering as the purple that it starts off with. Redwood. Oh yeah, that's actually purple. It's just the camera giving me shit as usual. But yeah. Yeah, okay. We'll give it a try. I think I'll use the transparent red and sort of save myself a little bit of hassle. With violets. Yeah, because I've tweaked up the color balance, and now most of the colors look like themselves, but for whatever reason, the blue, like the purple and the violet, it just doesn't register. So I guess it's a common thing. I'm going a bit thick here. I'm not sure about any of this, but moving along. The violets are blue, or so I've been told. Well, we can revert to the color palette and check, to the color wheel, and give it a check. I think it's technically a different ratio of blues and reds and maybe magentas. I should really work on my color mixing. That shit's embarrassing. Oh, you were... okay. Took me a while. Took me a good while to actually... to see what you meant. To pick up what you put down. Yeah. As usual, I am just slow on the pickup. I'm just hunting down any harsher transition, trying to soften it down a little bit. And I gotta say, doing this with the Pro Acryls is a million times easier than with with the citadels. Not sure why though. I don't really understand why. I think it's because you can actually thin the proc rails down a lot more than the citadels, and so you can get a consistency that is very close to just water while still having a pigment that will register on the model. So it ends up making it a lot easier to apply. That might be it. Okay, well, this is going slowly. Right, now the question is, do we go for more Cadian flesh tone to build up the highlight? Or do I go over straight to Kislev flesh? For the final stuff. This is getting pretty dark. And the highlights are building very slowly. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. Yeah, let's go Kislev, see what happens. Find it. It's not simply dark, it's grimdark. Yeah, I think that will actually no longer be the case with 9th edition. I think they actually removed the slogan. Or changed it. There was a modification to it anyway. Pretty sure of that. Yeah, you know, with the new logo, the cleaner logo for the 40k stuff. Yeah, they took out a legendary saying. Let me see, maybe it says something on the GW website. It's that Smurf's doing, yeah. And his allegiance to the space elf. I can't see it, but I'm pretty sure. Came around. Well, maybe I'm mistaken because it shows the same thing. Anyway. A stupid sidetrack. Lacking any particular amount of consistency or a point to it. So this was supposed to be initially a quicker stage of painting. It was supposed to be quicker than usual because it was less surface. So how come I'm halfway through the stream and still nowhere done? And it is just my second cigarette break, so it's not that much faffing about. I'm honestly amazed at how slow I can do some things. Yeah, those were cumulative 10 minutes of the stream till now. So I don't think it's that. Smoky. I gotta get my hands on the original comics. Even though they have the dotted style of coloring, which I really don't like looking at. But I want to follow through the actual story. The real one, the grim one. Because I think Stanley dies in like the very early on. Yeah, it's very, like, just the beginning of it, I think. Still a nice, bright highlight. Right, we can. Not very. Okay, let's give it a shot. Where do we want to build more? Like here. Yeah, that barely registered. More kids left flash into it. Yeah, there we go. It's more like a highlight. Just a tint of the original purple. But I do need to make the areas larger so that I have room for the glaze. And this is actually in the dark here. And this time I'll probably need to glaze with a lighter tone. I don't know. In terms of smoothness, it really does work well. But in terms of the process to build it up, it is considerably slower. Than what I usually do. I'm not sure if I'll want to stick to this. Is a go-to method. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm still kind of looking for my thing, like what will be the thing that's most reliable for me to apply, easiest, and giving best results, and not being extremely time consuming. And I think the previous one was kind of close enough to that. Speed painting I'm not gonna do for large models and low model count. Because it does drive down the quality massively. I will try it when I start the Gears of War stuff, because I will have a few more generic models, and it might be a good idea to try it out there. But certainly not for the Goliaths. I will. I just need to finish these Goliaths someday. But it is definitely something that goes better with more, like a larger number of more generic looking models than models that you want to bring individuality into, and that you're actually shooting for some sort of quality with. So it's really not gonna be something to to use often. Okay, gotcha. Alright, alright. See, there is a sort of a golden middle somewhere along the way. Where I can get results that are better than speed painting, naturally below any kind of display quality, of course. I wouldn't be able to do that no matter how much time I put into it. I'm just not good for it. But what I'm saying is that I want to find a way to get a model out every week. Yeah. Well, not really, actually. So Aristoteles, he speaks that the golden middle isn't the geometric or arithmetic middle. So it should be, depending on the topic, either slightly in one or the other direction. And it is a matter of trial and error to sort of get to it. But it is there, and I want to try and get it. For myself, that is. I mean, what I would be satisfied with. And right now I am stuck in the exact thing that I dreaded the most, which is having to glaze with a mid-tone that I don't have pre-mixed, like I don't have it as a separate color. It makes things slower further still. I watched Genuine Vision today, and he reminded me of feathering, which is something like two-brush blending. Well, the way he showed it was kind of like two-brush blending. And that might be something to give a try. Or two-brush blending in general. Like the Privateer Press version of it might be worth checking out. But I gotta think of a hygienic substitute to what they suggest, because they're all spit blending over at Privateer Press, so their main technique for painting is two-brush blending, with the blending brush being kept moist via spit. Possibly some kind of medium, because water won't cut it. I don't think. And I'm not gonna start licking brushes now. Like, it's never been something I do, and I don't intend to start. So we're good here. Pretzel's jumping around very weirdly today. As in, it switches songs mid-track.
I've got brains to burn, no ordinary AI in this ball. Every culture and philosophy, I've read up on them all. I've been living in your shadow for 99999, keeping tabs on every
Okay, that's right-ish.
so don't call me a moron, I'm super astute. There is no conundrum that my core cannot compute. No, don't call me a moron, you frosted balloon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon.
Do we push? Do we push more?
My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon. My IQ's
I think we should.
space from here to the moon. I have studied Machiavelli, Aristotle, Gabe and Plato, yet you still equate my intellect to that of a potato. This place would fall apart without my
Put in some more cute.
They might tell you I'm a half-wit, it's a great big bloody lie. So don't call me a moron, I'm super astute. There is no conundrum that my core cannot compute. No, don't call me a moron, you frosted balloon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon. I know my way around here, every catwalk, every cave, and since you're dead I've quite appreciated not being your slave. Maybe someday I might get to taste the big time for a change. There's so much I'd do for science here, so much I'd rearrange. So don't call me a moron, I'm super astute. There is no conundrum that my core cannot compute. No, don't call me a moron, you frosted balloon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon. My IQ's the infinite space from here to the moon.
So while it's not horrible right now, I fear that if I go with the red right now over it, the transparent red, it'll bring it too much down. I'm trying my damnedest to raise that highlight. Higher up. Not doing a good job at it. So trying not to cover the entire surface of the highlight. So I am left with at least a small part of color I laid down. To questionable results. There you see how it just decides to go to a different song out of the blue. Like that song just started. Not really sure what's going on there. Unless I've allowed for these changes to be made by viewers, and I've just forgotten how to do it. And someone is right now taking me for a ride. And I wouldn't put it past people. Okay, I think I'm actually sitting at a good place. for the highlights, and what I need to do is bring back some of the shadows. That'll probably help things out. To return some of the contrasts into the model. Which meant that I can skip several stages and just build up the highlight sketches and then try and glaze them all down in one go. Might be the thing, the key. Towards what I am moving for. Enough. Did I not start with a dark enough color? Is that what's being the problem? I think it was dark enough. I'm getting a bit frustrated here. Alright, let's bring in the red and see how that works. From that, using the flesh tones to mix into the purple for highlights wasn't all that bad. There is something to be said about gauging your steps, like how rough of a color transition you want before going back down into the glazing. Or maybe there isn't, maybe it's just a matter of do it over and over and over and over again until it works. But again, there has to be a way, there has to be a better gauge to this. You can do multiple highlights with smaller depths and then glaze with like a couple 3 to 4 rounds of glazing and just blend those in. Suppose it's gonna be a long, arduous trial and error process. And this is actually one of the reasons why this whole thing is going so slow, because I'm trying, it might not seem like it, but I'm actually trying stuff constantly. I'm not really painting on autopilot. I think that once that actually happens, it might bring faster results. See how you on top of the purple. I recall trying this on the previous Goliath, although it was in a very incipient state, so right after doing the base coat with pure purple, maybe blackened purple, not sure. And it gave an interesting tint to the whole thing. I'm kind of relying on that now. Or else I've essentially not done anything all day today. Or maybe it's big. I don't know. Just don't know at this point. Getting lost. In my own ideas. Wicked. But one thing's for sure. Blends are smooth. Definitely smoother than the previous ones. Although the fact that I used the same main color instead of going for different premixes probably has most to do with it. I think harsher steps is the way to go, though. Probably that's what's... Do we do all the steps first? Then glaze or glaze after each step? But that'll change the glaze. Can't glaze with the same color if it's in between stages. Such subtle little changes and tweaks here and there with such a huge impact on the model. But we'll get there eventually. That'd be the most optimal way, but we'll get. Please. Start off from the deepest recesses. Of course, switching to an adequate focus would help. Yeah, alright. Okay. I'm not hating this. I am not hating this at all. Probably it will blend out when it dries. Okay. Like the concept of what I'm seeing. That might just save my ass. Neat. Also, I can never gauge how much paint I need. I end up either mixing too little or too much. It does add vibrancy, and I think that was the main missing ingredient. It was getting way too desaturated. I want just a highlight. I want vibrant shadows. I don't want vibrant highlight. At least for the flesh. For instance, with the armor plates, I want the opposite. I want bland and desaturated shadows and vibrant highlights to improve the contrast. Between the different types. But we'll see what happens. I think it is going to work. But I will need to do this a million times. Which makes this, even if the result is good, it disqualifies it as a candidate for a good tick. In my case. End up putting a bit too much color here. Question is, do I want to reinforce the highlights after this? I do want to do it with. I think this is still a bit too dark for a final highlight. I don't think, or will it? Actually, it might just. Might just be enough. Oh, it's gonna have to be, because whatever I do, or I end up achieving, in the next 45 minutes is about all that it's gonna get. I was actually hoping that I would already be done with the flesh at this point of the stream, and I could have gone for something else. Maybe the shoes. This is a fairly small surface for me to be spending so much time on. On the other hand, flesh is somewhat critical. Well, not critical, but it is specific. Needs to be smoother. I can't afford harsh shadows at all. Yeah, Flash is a bit of a bitch. But I think I might make it work. Also, oh yeah, my wet palette has completely dried out. Almost. Even though it was almost drenched. And so, what paints I'm using are also drying out faster. Now there was a little bit of a pool going on here with the last application. So I just dried out my brush real quick and just soaked up the excess. Good old lesson learned while still painting predominantly with Citadel paints and washes. Here, dry off, soak up. You probably cannot tell on camera, but we are getting a very nice saturation to the purples, to the shadows. It's very easy because not all of the surface has been treated yet, and it's sort of very easy to see the actual change, subtle though it may be. Then again, that's what we're going for in it. Subtle, slow, meticulous. Mhm. Have the head that's left. Be good. I would like to reinforce some of the shadows further still with this. However, that will make the transition to the highlights harsher because I didn't properly set them up. I think I'll just leave it where it is right now. Just want that reddish tint even there. I can go as strong as I want here on deepest recesses, where it is nothing but shadow with a smidgen of highlight. That I can do, not a problem. But those are mostly areas that will never be seen from a gaming sense. This is on a gaming table, you're definitely not gonna be looking under its armpits. But I'll know it's there. Also, if I don't do this and I miss out larger areas, it's going to keep the more bluish purple, and it's going to look weird. It's not tinted correctly. Let's go a little bit harder here. Yeah, I did not set up correctly the whole highlighting process for this. And I'll probably forget what I did by the time I reach the next dude. So we'll be having this whole discussion and mostly monologue once again. Maybe I should start writing these things down. I don't want to write down the successes only, but we all know you can't go straight into the successes. You gotta fuck up a few times, yeah. Although I think I've sort of taxed out my fucking buffer, and should probably start actually getting somewhere with these techniques and approaches. Yes, LeBrock, I do want to run away. Problem is, running away does not mean you'll be able to escape. Renders that point kind of moot. Yeah, I think that'll be it for the dude's fleshy bits. Like, he did end up just being a bit too dark, and I'm not overly happy with that. Right, let's put him down and think about it. And crack the old noggin. So what went right and what went wrong? I think pretty much the approach itself was okay. It is, however, a matter of quantity. Right? How much to put, where to put it. Would I have gone this mixing spot? I think tricked me nastily. I should have just made an entirely new blotch of paint for the mix for the Goliath. Flash, so I could have pushed even further and had gotten a much brighter final highlight, like the most extreme highlight. Would have been brighter overall. And then I could have used the previous splotch of paint, which would have had the whatchamacallit, Acadian flesh tone, to use it for the glaze. That way I could have had layered. What's up, Mark? Yeah, absolutely. No, it worked sort of okay, going down with the red. It did reintroduce a little bit of vibrancy into the shadows, which is what I wanted. The only issue that is really bugging me is that he ended up so the brightest highlights ended up being not as bright as I wanted them to be, and I'm just making a quick analysis of what I fucked up to have gotten that. He needs brighter highlights is what he needs. But at this point, there's too much going on in terms of the different colors. So if I pushed highlights up, yeah, browns and greens highlight very well with yellows. I've been meaning to do a green and yellow because I've seen it around a few times lately and it looks really good. I just want to emulate that. But I just made a big mess of colors right here. And I shouldn't have done that. Should Should have spaced out my mixing spaces a little bit better. Oh. Nice. Is that like for purples? And blues? That's interesting, going green into the recesses. For greens. Oh, okay, okay. Alrighty. So I do have another green dude coming up. It's this big, this guy. But I think I'll change the base coat green. That is a bit too bright for a base coat for me. I want to bring it down. I'll probably just use Wafflesh or a bit of brown into the camo green, and see if that makes a good base color, because that's too bright. Anyway, can I fix this? The only way is to go probably pure Kislev Flash with a little bit of purple. And then if I glaze it down, it'll probably ruin the whole thing though. Then I'll have to redo the reds as well. I think I'll have to rethink this. But yeah, I can't leave him like this. Nope, let's see. Oh yeah, I see. I see. Yeah, right here. Okay, yeah, that... Interesting. I would have never thought of blue undercoating for green, though. That's really cool.
Law and order has begun to break down
Really
following
cool.
the major energy crisis.
Yeah, thanks. That will
Motorcycle
definitely
scours the lands and
come in
terrorize the
handy down the line.
As such, Main Force Patrol, an outrun police force, has been created to patrol the lands and to uphold the remains of law and justice.
Yeah, so I just, before starting to glaze things down, I just should have pushed him further up. Highlighting it, it would have been good. Oh well, I'll see if I can. Oh, that's cool. I do need to get some inks. I've been putting this off forever. Yeah, definitely at least the black ink for some good panel lining. But while getting the black, I should also get some other colors for nice tinting. I can do the boots real quick. Just to keep shit going. Yeah, but it is sort of limited to just panel lining, whereas I can use the ink for other things as well. I kind of like to keep a little bit of variety in my tools. But we'll see. Like, mainly I do want to try my hands at the comic book style that Epic Duck is doing. I've got some dwarves lined up for that at some point. And I really need to get that ink in order to make it work. And while doing this, I'll probably grab a few other colors. Love it. Just do a quick cleanup. Base color, because I went a little bit crazy with the metallics on the base. Either way, it's a long learning experience for me, and although it sounds a lot like bitching and moaning, I'm actually enjoying the fact that I try stuff and see what happens and take notes. And I think I should actually literally take notes, because the next time I'm doing Flesh, I'll probably forget all that I've reached as a conclusion so far. I'm a bit of a dumbass like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. For finished concepts, it's a great idea. But what I would do, just because of my limitations at the moment, would be write down sort of mid steps along the way. For instance, in this case, that would have been take note to push highlights further before starting to glaze. Little things like that. I don't really feel like reinventing the wheel every time I have to paint a dude, or dudette, or monster, or vehicle, or whatever. And I kind of place myself in that situation every time. And I'm most probably going to do that again, because for all my talking, I'm sure you don't see a lot of writing things down. So yeah. but it'll be fine. Eventually. Yeah, absolutely. Just um, quick notes, guide, future references. Especially if it's a big project. You would be putting down and getting back to. For now, let's just try and get these shoes done for the remainder of the time today. Just move things along ever so slightly. I'll just do them the usual way. Little bit of highlight some rough scratches. And then a quick glaze of, in this case, transparent black. I'm trying to slowly and gradually move away from washes. Because I've been getting diminishing returns from them lately. As in, I'm getting to the point where I want to manipulate actual color and not necessarily have to add grunginess and dirtiness to it, which the washes inevitably do, with the exception of like the brighter colors. So yellow doesn't do that, and sepia is a great wash. But mostly like the main ones, Agrax and Null Oil, I'm trying to get away from. Unless, of course, I want to make something dirty, which is, for instance, the base. I will treat the base heavily with washes. Both of the ones that I just mentioned. Get a little bit of Screaming Skull. Oh, wait, I'll use it now. Not the best, these should be more varied. Just a bit of a highlight here and here. Same color. Okay. Alright, now let's just quickly wash this. Whenever I'm resorting to doing things I'm sort of comfortable with, not saying that they come out great or anything, but just something that I've tried and reached to a point where it's okay-ish. Speed picks up. Got to rehydrate. Things are drying down. Go over these shoes and we're done. Clean up. Do the same here. Yeah, I think that's good. Quick and dirty with decent. You're not looking for anything realistic or adequate. Alright. Just in time. So, that'll be it from me for tonight. Thank you all for joining, for coming along, for hanging out. And I'll be back on Monday, as usual. Till then, keep doing what you love and loving what you do. Signing out. Bye, guys. I'm glad it was. Thank you for keeping me company. Bye-bye now.